Alright, here we go again, doing some more Dave. The most popular video on my channel right now is my best bars for Dave's psychodrama, but that was before I had a good microphone, so there's a lot of reading to do in that video. I thought I'd revisit him, but this time focus on his freestyles, because a lot of them will be less popular as they don't get released on the streaming platforms, and I think these will be new to a lot of people. Also, if you like these types of videos, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, because when I see good feedback, it motivates me to do more of these. But yeah, let's get into it. One last thing I feel that's got to be said as well is that Dave was 16/17 when a lot of this came out, so he might have even wrote them when he was like 15, but that just puts into perspective how much of a special artist this guy is. But yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, listen, cool, look. You ain't really from here, Armani's clean, the vision's never cloudy, so know what I'm on clear, you're trapping for designer.
Dave explains how he grew up trapping but uses clever wordplay with designer brands. Armani is a luxury Italian fashion house, and the way he says Armani's clean could translate to our man he's clean, or our army's clean. I'm leaning more towards the first one. And then talking about his vision not being cloudy, it's pretty much saying he knows where he wants to go in life, hence the know what I'm Moncler, and that sounds like Moncler, which is also an Italian fashion company. And then rounding it off with trapping for designer, which it seems that's what a lot of trappers do nowadays. They're really into the materialistic stuff and focus more on looking good than actually being clever with their money.
Bring all your guys and you can lose that war. You bring a burner to the beef, I'll make you use that corn. You bring a turner to the madness, you can lose that corn. My Leicester niggas have you missing, that's some unicorn.
Corn in slang terms means bullets or ammunition, so he's basically saying that if you bring a gun, he's going to make you shoot. And the last line is a double entendre on unicorn, the mythical creature, and also uni as in university, because he mentions Leicester, so he must be referring to people that he knows that went to Leicester University that are shooters as well. And then the word missing in this line relates to you dying, but also unicorns being missing because they don't actually exist.
My brother's stressed out, a man can see it in his face, like man can see it in his eyes. He's holding back the tears, that judge moving like a Mayan, holding back them years, they done my brother dirty.
This is a reference to the Mayan calendar that ended in 2012 when they thought the world was going to end, and this is used to explain his brother going to prison.
Dave, listen, look. Brother got me thinking, it's like 5 PM and I'm drinking. I might lose my mind where I'm thinking. There's no iPod but I'm sinking. It's like calm down, you're not listening. You were 3Gs but I'll picture him. Yeah, a few fiends are addicted and a few shots they went missing, but...
This is a throwback to iPods. When you plug them into a computer, they would sync to iTunes, but he uses syncing in a metaphorical sense, as he says in the previous line, 5 PM and I'm drinking, so he just means he's not in a good state. If he made the iPod bar into an iPhone bar, then the next line about 3Gs could have went 3 different ways, but iPods don't have 3G, so we're going to have to dismiss that. But what the 3G actually relates to is free guys and 3G football pitches, and he links them by saying he will pitch them, in other words, sell them drugs. And then the last line relates back to football and either drugs or guns when he says a few shots went missing.
Running with a Makarov, wave that once and be backing off. It's a heavy little pistol and it packs a lot. My jeans hang like when Price killed Makarov. See it whip me, best be backing off, cause my boys know chunks like Kakarot. See it whip me, best be backing off, cause my boys know chunks like Kakarot.
Makarov refers to the pistol, but also a character from the Call of Duty series. In the end of the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, Price kills Makarov by hanging him, as we can see in this clip. Kakarot is Goku's birth name, a character from Dragon Ball Z, and Trunks is also another character from the series, but Trunks could also mean the barrel of his gun, you know, kind of like an elephant. Don't know how much of a reach that is, but it makes sense to me.
Brother, here's the issue, I never came from a broken home. The system came and broke my home, and now my bros are sitting in cells like chromosomes. I hope the door don't tear us apart, but I know the roads, I know my bros got love for me, I love them back, I know the code. Would you check for my mum and see if she... Listen, look, let me go back.
Bring that back.
Little things, just a warm-up.
Now for this one, we're focusing on that one line near the beginning, and now my bros are sitting in cells like chromosomes. This is just quality. Obviously he's referring to his brother being in a prison cell and some of his friends maybe, but then also chromosomes being in human cells. It's just such a nice little bar. Even that guy at the back caught it, look at him, he fucking caught it as well.
I was concerned with all these bitches trying to twit me. Girls never made me a penny, I swear brother it's killing me. And now they want to talk like all these girls are getting into me. I fuck her 3 times cause she ain't never seen a trilogy.
Here's a short and sweet one. Trilogy, which is obviously a group of 3 related things, books, movies, etc. But also Trilogy, as in she hasn't met someone as real as Dave.
So, how I draw hate, brother, I'm fucking confused. My brother's still writing to me, I drop tears on that letter. PSG, do whatever Mars say. You got something to lose, but nothing to prove. And that's the realest rap that I ever fucking wrote.
Here he uses brother writing from prison and implements it into his bars so cleverly. PS, which is postscript, is what people put at the end of a letter if they still have something to say that they forgot to include. And here his brother's telling him to do whatever his mum says because he's got something to lose and he doesn't want him to end up in a cell like himself. But Dave says all of this while mentioning 3 French teams, PSG, Marseille and Toulouse. Madness.
Brother, would you ride for me? Or are you like these lying guys who say that the stars scream, but when they see the iron hide?
Starscream and Ironhide are 2 characters from the Transformers films, but iron is also another word for a gun. So here Dave is saying that these people act all hard until someone pulls out a gun and then they go hide.
Had to find myself, I wasn't looking right. In the state, could have got your G hurt like Muller light, fatalistic thoughts. I swear I could have died, that's why I ain't raw thing since. Well, I can't confine my pain to a sentence. I sentence you, that's pain in the sentence. I got a sentence explaining the sentence, that's 18 years explained in a sentence.
In a state, could have got your G hurt like Muller light. Dave is saying that he could have hurt someone and he wasn't in the right state of mind. But your G hurt is play on yogurt, and Muller Lite is a brand of yogurt. And again, Dave speaks on his brother in jail, as he was sentenced to 18 years, and at the time this came out, Dave was 18 years old, hence the line, that's 18 years explained in a sentence.
Trying to see proper dough, feds come drop a roll. In my line of work, there's no tax like Monaco. Bars like Heineken, I write for days. Man can't spin me on a track like Tyson Gay.
Monaco is a small country and sovereign state located at the south of France, and they do things a bit differently there, including no taxes for their residents. And Dave compares this to his line of work he used to be involved in, which was selling drugs. And then he mentions Heineken, which is a beer company, and plays on bars where you'd go to buy drinks, but also meaning bars in his lyrics. And then lastly, Tyson Gay is an American track and field sprinter who currently has the 2nd fastest 100-meter sprint time, making him the 2nd fastest athlete ever, pretty much saying that no one can beat him. But the line's a bit flawed because, Bolt's faster. But it worked with the rhyme scheme, so he has to stick to that.
Around my ends, all them nitties approach us, cause I'm the face of food like Kerry Quotation. Now look, effervescent bimbo, during the night like crypto.
I love this guy's reactions on the right, kind of like mine when I first heard this bar. Now I'm pretty sure if you're from the UK and you're above a certain age, you'd remember Kerry Quotation being the face of Iceland adverts.
So that's why mums go to Iceland?
So yeah, he's pretty much saying in his area all the nitties, which are drug abusers, would know to come to Dave to get their food, another word for drugs.
Look, I've been about for a bit, don't play the fool. I still got a few notes like I'm late for school. I just picked up a cue like I'm playing pool. No chastity or charity, I'm taking food.
The notes he's talking about is money obviously, but then relating it to getting a note for being late for school. A cue is a 1/4 ounce of drugs, but also like a pool cue that you would use to play pool with. And then saying that he's just going to take the food or drugs again. He doesn't care about no charity.
Headphones, duffel bag going north on the train. And I'm calm on my own, catch me walking in 110. Broke down the Z, ain't getting less than 110. Night shifts, werewolves down me at 110. Tell them come them, but you can't down me for 110.
The use of 110 being used here of so many different meanings is a classic staple for Dave, always making one thing seem like so much more. The first 110 he's talking about the Nike Air Max 95s, but they call them 110s because that's the standard price for them in the UK, £110. The second 110, he's saying that he broke down a Z of drugs, probably weed, and he ain't getting less than £110 for it. The third one he's talking about, the type, getting calls at 1:10 in the morning, most likely for drugs again. And the last one, I'm a bit confused. The lyrics say online, sound me for 110, but when I hear it, I think he's saying style me for 110. But either way, I think he means he ain't getting it for a lower price than 110. But I could be wrong here, so if I am, let me know what he's saying below.
This crow's got a bag of bass and you're a bag of treble. How can I listen to a man who ain't playing when you talk about the game from the side like Gary Neville? I'm involved, I'm on a pitch, I'm a centre mid.
He's pretty much saying how can he listen to someone who isn't actually involved in what they're talking about. Dave compares this to football, referencing Gary Neville, who used to play for Man United but is now a pundit for Sky Sports, and he just analyses games. Also, when Dave says, how can I listen to a man who, it kind of sounds like Man U, and I doubt that was unintentional.
If the truth hurts, I like being lied to. I can't deal with issues in the ways that I would like to. It's funny how I've always got a text to reply to. That's why I went and got 3 lines, that's a haiku. Paranoia got me stressing, man, I'm thinking that they're planning SLR, I got a cannon. I ain't taking photos, I'm aiming at your bros and taking shots like Tenerife.
With Dave's success coming fast, a lot of people are trying to get hold of him, so he had to get multiple phone lines. But this could also relate to a drug line. So many people know him, so we had to get a couple more phones, hence 3 lines. And then haiku is just a short poem which consists of 3 lines, so that's the link there. SLR means self-loading rifle, so he's pretty much saying that his ops are planning to shoot him maybe, but he ain't worried because he's got a cannon. Everyone knows what a cannon is. And then the next line he says, I ain't taking photos, which links both SLR and Canon as their types of cameras that you take pictures with. But at the same time, he's saying that he ain't taking pictures, he's talking about weapons. And then even the shots in that last line has a double meaning, because shooting a gun, obviously, but then when he says Tenerife, That's a common place to go on holiday, so it would also mean taking shots of alcohol.
Let her go, try it, man. A chick can catch fire like Katniss Everdeen. No chicks can catch fire like any one of my ex-girls. Me, I couldn't breathe, I needed space, that was ex-hell. How can I wish my ex well? I still got ex-hate. Bryson Tiller, I was trying to see my ex-change. I'm Scott Summers now, nothing but an ex-man. Still trying to test my brain in the AM, that's an ex-am. Then it's on to a next man, still scarred by my ex-holes. Could show her true colours in a photo, that's an ex-pose. So how could you ever bad me?
The Katniss Everdeen line is referenced into the film Hunger Games. The second film in the series was called Catching Fire. And then we've got a massive wordplay on the word X in this whole section. The first exhale is when he's talking about his breathing, and then says how can he wish his ex well when he's still got ex hate, pretty much saying how can he wish her well when he doesn't like this girl, and then linking it to one of Bryson Tiller's songs X Change, at the same time wishing she could change. Scott Summers is the name of Cyclops, one of the X-Men from the Marvel comics, but also they ain't going out no more, so he's her ex-man. And in school most of the time they have exams in the morning, so that's when he says testing his brain in the AM. And then the last line, show her true colours in the photo, that's an expose. In photography, exposure is the amount of light that you let into a photo, which changes how it looks obviously. But you could also pose for a photo, hence expose. And on top of that, if someone shows their true colours, they're really exposing themselves for who they really are. That bar was a madness.
My new girl got my old girl hurting. The last ex that I had was a lighty, but the next ex that I get is a German. That's an X5 or a 6 though. I'll get cocaine white like a gringo. I got a link at Stony for clothes, so this hoodie that I own costs ocho cinco.
His ex being a lighty, he's actually talking about a girl, but then he goes on to say that his next ex is going to be a car, more specifically a BMW X5, which cost around 55 grand, or an X6, which is a bit more expensive, and he's going to get it in white. Ocho Cinco is Spanish for 8.5, so he's saying that he'll be able to get Stone Island clothes for £85, which is actually very cheap, but that's because he knows someone there.
Who the hell told you that I got run out? Hands in my pockets like Wenger in the dugout. I ain't going nowhere. Nah, G, I remember when them girls used to par me and now they wanna party. Whips like a kid wearing dark green Adidas. Why? I put 3 lines on a car key.
Arsene Wenger is a football manager most known for being at Arsenal, as he was there for 22 years. And he wasn't very active on the touchline, famously known for having a massive coat with his hands in his pocket. And the next line explaining how girls weren't interested in Dave until he got big, which is a common theme with people who blow up successfully. Adidas has 3 stripes, and BMW often has 3 stripes also. The khaki line also links to where he said dark green, as khaki is often described as a drab green colour, although it's most known for being beige. And 3 lines on a car key could also refer to 3 lines of cocaine on a key, as that is often how people take it.
I'll test the Wesson's kit though, effervescent Vimto. Catch you in a night like crypto, big chrome. Turn your Wednesday apocalypto. Freeze your guys up like Calypso. Windows ain't really a problem cause we tint those. Muscle in the back, this guy's looking like the big show. Hustling for stacks and fucking hustling for rap. Hey.
Tessa Wesson's kit could refer to testing a gun out, and effervescence is the bubbles in a liquid or the fizz, so that could relate to what happens after you shoot a gun. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency and it rose in price out of nowhere, so Dave could be saying that he can catch you off guard, and that would relate back to the gun line, but it could also be a play on the word crypt, which is a stone chamber containing coffins, so that would imply that you're dead. And again this links to the next line, which is big chrome, which is another word for a gun. Calypso is a nymph in Greek mythology that kept people imprisoned in ice for years, but also this could be a reach, but Calypso the drink, and I guess freeze relates because it's best cold. And finally, the last bar of this whole video, muscle in the back, this guy's looking like the Big Show. The Big Show is a professional wrestler who's about 7 foot and just an absolute beast of a man. And muscle could relate to someone protecting Dave or the guns that he's got in the back. So that was all of Dave's freestyles and the best bars that I picked out from him. I hope I didn't miss a video, but these are the only ones I could find. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as I said at the start, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and yeah, hopefully I'll make another one soon. In a bit.